Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving straight into the electrifying world of speedrunning.
Yeah, and specifically focusing on, those beloved classics of retro gaming.
Exactly. We're using a really great piece from the Journal X as our guide here.
It does a good job getting to the heart of why pushing these older games to their absolute limits, why that's become such a compelling thing for so many people.
Totally. So our mission really is to unpack the history, the appeal, and honestly, the incredible challenges these runners face,
Mhm.
all kind of sparked by this article,
Okay.
right? So the article kicks off talking about, stumbling into this unexpected online world, speedrunning,
Yeah.
and how that discovery almost always leads to those late-night YouTube rabbit holes, right? Or Wikipedia binges.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there.
Oh, absolutely. And what's so interesting, I think, is how speedrunning fundamentally changes your relationship with these games.
How?
Well, they're not just old things to look back on fondly. Speedrunning gives them new life. It shows off hidden depths, possibilities that, the average player just wouldn't ever find.
Right. It reveals just how much ingenuity was baked into some of these games from the start.
Exactly.
And the article really hits this home with Mario Kart 64. It mentions someone rediscovering the speedrunning scene for it and suddenly wanting to replay this, 20-year-old game.
Mm.
It completely flipped their idea of what Mario Kart could even be.
Precisely. And Mario Kart 64 runs are particularly cool because they're not just about finding the most optimized route. Often you see these really distinct shortcuts, these glitches.
Things you know are speedrunning tricks.
Right. It's obvious, it's intentional. It's a different kind of mastery you're seeing.
And that brings us to the superstars. The article mentions Matthias Rustemeyer and Beck Abney.
Oh, yeah, those two. They basically dominate the leaderboards across, well, pretty much all the main categories. 3-lap, fast lap, skips, no skips.
It just shows the level of dedication, right?
Okay.
And frankly, almost superhuman skill.
It really does. Their dominance just underlines the profound mastery involved. It's way beyond just playing well.
It's like they're probing the game's engine itself.
Exactly. Finding and exploiting its hidden quirks.
Okay, so then we get to a real highlight the article mentions.
Yeah.
The Chaco Mountain skip.
Ah, yeah.
This sounds absolutely wild. You use a mushroom boost after the finish line somehow to trigger an extra lap?
Yeah, the precision required is incredible. It's not just boosting randomly.
No.
No, it needs pinpoint timing, a specific angle. The article calls it brute force, but it's actually super nuanced.
Right.
And it took the community a long time to figure out, and perfect. It really shows that core speedrunning thing. Understanding the engine so well, you can trigger these unintended consequences reliably.
You're basically reprogramming the game on the fly.
In a way, yeah. You're moving beyond just playing it to understanding its code, its limits.
And the result, shaving minutes down to seconds.
That's the kind of time save we're talking about, yeah. And the article mentions this skip was so hard to find, even with tool-assisted speedruns.
Which use computers for perfect inputs, right? Discovering things humans couldn't do in real time.
Exactly. Even with t-tests, it was so elusive that some runners apparently just gave up on the game because of it.
Wow. That really shows the commitment, but also the potential frustration involved.
Yeah, it really does. It highlights the ingenuity, but also that unwavering determination you see in the community. Always experimenting, always looking for those tiny cracks.
Speaking of unwavering determination, the article shifts to the original Doom.
Right.
Now, that's maybe not the first game you think of for a thriving speedrunning scene today.
Exactly. But the article talks about this monumental run, shattering a record that stood for 20 years.
20 years on a game from '93.
It's pretty remarkable. Shows the game's staying power and just how relentless some people are about optimization.
And the margins in Doom, they're just razor thin. This recent record on Hanger, the first level, 8.97 seconds.
But the game rounds it down, right? So it shows as 8 seconds.
Right. And the old record was 9.91, shown as 9 seconds. So the improvement was less than a second.
0.94 seconds, yeah.
And if the runner had been just, a tenth of a second slower, they would have only tied the old record.
It really drills down to that almost microscopic level of optimization they're chasing. It's not just big glitches anymore.
It's shaving off fractions of a second.
Through perfect movement, perfect execution. Imagine the dedication. Improving by less than a tenth of a second after 2 decades of people trying. It's wild.
Okay, let's switch gears to the game that probably pops into most people's heads with retro speedrunning. Super Mario 64.
Ah, the classic.
The article calls it timeless, and it is. So many of us grew up with it, and it's still just fun to play, fun to watch.
And hugely popular in the speedrunning community, for sure. But here's the interesting paradox the article points out.
What's that?
It's actually one of the hardest games for newcomers to even start speedrunning seriously.
Really?
It demands years, literally years of practice to master what they call frame-perfect jumps, pixel-perfect time skips, and inch-perfect routes.
Frame perfect. Like hitting a button within a 60th of a second window.
Exactly. That kind of precision. It's intense.
Right. So the game originally makes you think you need 70 stars, right? To get to Bowser, past that endless staircase.
That's the intended path. But, speedrunners, they find other ways.
Always.
And this is where their ingenuity just shines. They figured out that doing backwards long jumps, mashing the A button really fast at that staircase,
Yeah.
you build up enough speed, enough momentum to glitch right past the 70-star door entirely.
Whoa. Sounds simple, but the article says it's incredibly hard to do consistently.
Oh, notoriously difficult. Requires perfect rhythm and positioning.
And that was just the beginning, wasn't it? That 70-star requirement.
Yep.
It eventually dropped way down.
All the way down. First to 16 stars needed, through other glitches. And then, thanks to things discovered using those tool-assisted runs, they found ways to beat the game needing 0 stars.
0 stars. From 70 down to 0.
The evolution is just nuts. A game that originally took hours, beaten in under 7 minutes now.
That's just a testament to the community just picking the game apart, finding every weakness.
Absolutely. Relentless exploration of the mechanics.
Okay. The article then takes us to GoldenEye, describes it as a unique space in retro speedrunning.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Time saves in GoldenEye seem to come from either, years of grinding and practice, or completely out of the blue discoveries, things nobody expected.
So it's a mix of deliberate work and just luck, serendipity.
Kind of, yeah. Techniques like damage boosting, using explosions to propel yourself faster, that was intentional exploration of the physics.
Right.
But other things were more like happy accidents people figured out how to reproduce.
Like the Trevelyan grenade thing on the cradle level? That sounds absolutely bizarre.
Oh, it is. The idea is you destroy an automated gun. And that might cause Trevelyan, the villain, to drop a grenade in just the right spot.
Which then blows up another objective for you.
Exactly. It's this chain reaction of, seemingly random events that have to line up perfectly. How someone even found that?
Yeah, how do you even stumble onto that, let alone make it consistent?
It really shows that almost chaotic element in some speedrunning finds, identifying these weird chains of cause and effect.
And then there's the story of John Kalita, Look Down, and the Dot.
A great story. Look Down came from slightly misunderstood advice, apparently.
But it worked. Looking at the ground made Bond faster.
Yeah, because it reduced the amount of stuff the N64's processor had to render.
Less visual load.
Freed up processing power, which somehow affected the frame rate calculations and actually increased Bond's running speed. It's wild.
That's incredible. Just an unexpected side effect of how the game engine worked.
Totally.
And the dot. Literally sticking a physical dot on your TV screen.
Yeah, like a little paper crosshair stuck right in the middle to avoid using the game's built-in aiming down sights, because that slowed you down. The dot let you aim precisely without the slowdown.
That's just pure outside-the-box genius. Simple, but effective. And the fact that this guy, Kalita, made his first ever online post at age 55 to share these game-changing tricks.
It's fantastic, right? Real community spirit. But these techniques, Look Down and the dot, they completely shook up the GoldenEye scene.
How so?
Smashed existing records. And apparently some of the older established runners actually quit competing because the game changed so much, so suddenly.
Wow. Shows how innovation can just reset everything.
Definitely. It reshaped the whole competitive landscape.
Okay, finally, the article gets to Ocarina of Time. Another giant.
And a game that people kept declaring fully optimized, solved.
Only for new records to keep appearing.
Again and again. The first speed runs were, maybe 6 hours long?
And now?
Now it's just over 17 minutes.
That's insane. From 6 hours to 17 minutes.
Ocarina, like Mario 64, had its intended path, right? Spiritual stones, master sword, medallions, light arrows.
The whole epic quest structure.
But the speedrunning community just systematically dismantled all those barriers. Glitch after glitch, skip after skip, each more complex than the last.
The article mentions things like the trial skip.
Yeah.
Bypassing whole dungeons.
Yeah, it lets you skip 6 mini dungeons entirely. And the bottle adventure glitch.
What's that?
Exploiting an inventory bug to get essential items super early, messing up the game's sequence completely. It sounds like these things were just waiting there.
Like secrets hidden in the code.
And the speedmostarchive.com forums, SDA, became this like central hub where people were finding and sharing new skips and time saves constantly, almost daily sometimes.
A real collaborative effort then.
Totally, just unraveling the game's deepest secrets together.
And the article highlights Cosmo Wright's AGDQ run in 2013. That's Narcissa right now.
Right, that run was apparently a huge moment, got a lot of people into ocarina speedrunning, or brought veterans back.
Shows the power of seeing something seemingly impossible done live.
For sure, big runs like that can really energize a whole community.
So the conclusion from the Journalix piece seems clear. Speedrunners are, well, pretty vital.
Absolutely indispensable to retro gaming, I'd say. They keep these old games alive and relevant.
They spark interest for new players, reignite it for older ones.
And they just deserve recognition for the sheer dedication and, honestly, the mind-bending ingenuity involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So wrapping up this deep dive, drawing on that Journalix article, it's really shown a light on the incredible dedication, the creativity, and just the constant evolution within speedrunning, especially for these retro classics on N64 and PC.
It really does give you a completely fresh way to look at games you thought you knew inside out.
Yeah.
It's all about uncovering hidden mechanics, creatively breaking things with glitches, and just relentlessly pushing the limits of what you can even do in these virtual worlds.
It really makes you think. So here's a final thought for you, the listener. What other areas, things we think are completely solved or understood, could they hold similar hidden depths? Not just in games, but maybe other fields too. What could we discover with that same level of intense dedication, creative thinking, and willingness to just break the rules?
It's a great question. Makes you wonder what else is out there just waiting to be redefined.